Former resident is Sellung, that many of us remember from the bar in Mason. And to read her story is Pat Koval.
I'm not a Sellung. My sister-in-law Lois asked me to speak, and I think I've had enough, shared enough of their joys and sorrows to be kind of assimilated into the family. Sellung was born on August 7th, 1921 in Athens, Wisconsin, near Wausau. Her parents, Henry and Elsie Adams, had 9 daughters and 2 sons, and Vi was the 3rd oldest child. She lived and worked on the family farm until she was 18 years old when she met and married Ray Sellung in 1939. They bought a cheese factory and store in the Ino area between Mason and Delta, and they lived above the cheese factory and had 4 daughters and 4 sons. That's 8, count them, 8. Their children were Louise, Laverne, known as Butch, Lloyd, Lois, Jerry, Gloria, Wayne, and Connie. To say Vi worked hard her whole life, I feel, is an understatement. At the cheese factory, she not only raised her children, that was 8, count them, 8. She made meals, she baked often, and she waited on the customers in the store, plus tended the gardens, raised chickens, raised pigs, and so much more. The one daughter remembers in the general store waiting on a 4-year-old child and who came in with a bunch of colored pebbles to pay for her ice cream cone. Oh. She got that ice cream cone, and she never forgot the kindness that was shown to her. Vi and Ray ran the cheese factory until 1965 when their son Lloyd took it over. Now that should have been the end, right? But no, they bought a bar in Mason, in the village of Mason, and they ran that bar together until 1973 when Ray passed away. Vi then ran the bar on her own until she sold it in 1978 after her youngest daughter, Connie, graduated from high school. Vi did all the work. She tended bar, she did the cleaning, she did the ordering, the bookkeeping, she did it all. She simply worked with the cards that were dealt her entire life. She also had a very dry sense of humor. You had to kind of listen. And she didn't allow for any misbehavior at any time. She was a good listener. She enjoyed the young adults as they teased and joked around. And she was like a second mom to many of the young people that came in the bar. After Vi sold the bar, then you think that would have been enough, but no. She moved to a home in Ino, and at the age of 57, she went to school at WITC and took courses in human resources. She then got a job in the kitchen at Memorial Medical Center Hospital, and she worked at that hospital until 1991. During this time, unfortunately, she fell on the ice and broke her hip. She then moved into an apartment in Ashland to be closer to work. She was still driving when her daughter noticed how her garage door was dented one day, and Vi said, well, somebody else must have done that. That wasn't me. Maybe she's so good at dealing with things. Maybe that's why she liked to gamble. I don't know, but she loved to gamble. She loved to go to Las Vegas and play the slots. Often some of her children would take her to Las Vegas and they'd be ready to call it a night, but Vi was never ready to call it a night. 4 or 5 in the morning, she was still pulling the handle. The kids, they kind of wanted to take her to a show. There's many good shows in Las Vegas, and Vi never wanted to go, and she always resisted. And one time they finally talked her into going. And she was like a petulant child and complained the whole time. And they never took her again. And I remember Vi when she got in one of her moods, and I get that. I wouldn't have taken her again either. Her daughter Lois took her to a trip in Las Vegas one time, and they had to stay in Minneapolis overnight before they caught the plane to Las Vegas, and they stayed at a Super 1 Super 8 motel. It was next to an exit door. And Lois was in the bathroom. She heard her mother talking to someone in the room. And when Lois walked into the room, a man was trying to force his way in, and he had a knife to her mother's neck.
Ooh.
He said he wanted money, and he was going to rob them. I piped up and said, well, we just got back from Las Vegas, and we don't have any money. We spent it all. And then the man told him to go in the bathroom, and they did, and they heard him going through the possessions, and then he left, and the people at the hotel helped him out. And of course, that's a very traumatizing experience. So Lois started packing to go home, and Vi said, oh no, we're going to Las Vegas. And so they did. And it wasn't one of Lois's most restful and best trips to Las Vegas, and she never took her mother there again. Vi lived a good life, and she was known to be a hard worker. And she passed away on April 10th, 2008, and she left 62 descendants, 8 children, 23 grandchildren, 29 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. This August 7th, 2021 marks her 100th birthday. I think that we will never see another generation like this again. And I'm so happy to have known her and everyone else that lived at that time. Happy heavenly birthday, Vi.